my God, with every breath I breathe. Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the my desire. Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desire. How can I love thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? Hello friends, it's Valentine's Day here in the good old US of A, and happy Valentine's Day to you. Several readings I have for you along those lines, which I just can't resist, but in my daily tear-off calendar of the autobiography, it's entitled Valentine's Day, Monday, February 14th, and this quote from the autobiography, far from unpublished, quite published, is God is love. His plan for creation can be rooted only in love. Does not that simple thought, more than any erudite cosmological tome, offer solace to the human heart? Every saint who has penetrated to the core of reality has testified that a divine universal plan exists, and that it is beautiful and full of joy. Well, one such saint who testified to this, quite improbably, is the great Jnana-avatar of the Dwapara Yuga age, which is Swami Sri Yukteswar, once again far from unpublished, but very unread by the great masses, the unwashed masses, if you'll pardon my tongue-in-cheek. At the end of this very abstruse tome of deep, deep wisdom, wherein he was asked by the great Mahavatar Babaji to write a book showing the underlying truths, the truths that underlie the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita, the teachings of East and West. And he concludes in his final chapter. He quotes Sir Walter Raleigh from the third canto of the Lay of the Last Minstrel. Love rules the court, the camp, the grove, the men below and the saints above, for love is heaven and heaven is love. The power of love, Sri Yukteswar writes, has been beautifully described by the poet in the stanza above. It has been clearly demonstrated in the foregoing pages that love is God. I don't know that he really demonstrated that clearly, but anyway, not merely as the noblest sentiment of a poet, but as an aphorism of eternal truth. And to whatever religious creed a man may belong, and whatever may be his position in society, if he properly cultivates this ruling principle naturally implanted in his heart, he is sure to be on the right path to save himself from wandering in Maya. Well, what more can I say except, after that, how can I not share with you an unpublished poem by Paramhansa Yogananda, as I have been doing. Again, it's not that it's unpublished, it's just not currently published. This was published in August of 1932 in his magazine, which at that time was called, it had many titles over many decades, East-West Magazine. It's entitled Divine Love. Thou art the mystic echo from the caverns of heart, and the inaudible voice of feeling. Thou unseen charmer of souls, thou art the fountain flowing from the bosom of friendship. Thou art the unseen chord of self-bound souls, and the rays of secret warmth, which break buds of feeling into blossoms of endearing, soulful words of poesy and loyalty. Thou art the divine Cupid, enticing mystic souls to pierce the heart of all living things. Thou art the silent language of souls, and the invisible ink which lovers use to write letters on the pages of their hearts. Wow. Thou art the mother of all affections, and in thy breast of love throbs the heart of God. Love is the heartbeat of all life, and the angel of incarnation. Love is the silent conversation between two hearts. It is the call of God to all creatures, animate and inanimate, to return to his house of oneness. Love is born in the garden of soul progress, and it sleeps behind the darkness of outer attachments. It is the oldest and sweetest nectar, preserved in the bottle of hearts. It is the flame which burns all weeds of selfishness and destroys the walls of family and patriotic narrowness. It is the light which dissolves all walls between souls, families, and nations. It is the unfading blossom of pure friendship in the garden of both young and old souls. Love is the door to heaven, the complete song of souls. And finally, love is the echo of God's voice, trying to reverberate through mute stones, through rain, wind, fragrance, vitalizing light, and plumed songbirds. It reverberates through the cries and laughter of babies, through unconditioned mother love, and through dumb and articulate hearts as well. Wow, well, this is a day of love, what can I say? This poem, which I had not, I believe, ever stumbled upon, Divine Love, I'd be happy to send to anyone who happens to be watching this. Today is the first day of Ananda Worldwide, the winter week of renewal called Inner Renewal. And it began this morning with talks by our spiritual directors, Jyotish and Devi, in which they review the outer world in which we live and the challenges that we face. Not that any of us are unaware of those challenges, but putting them in the context of Yogananda's teachings and Sanatana Dharma and the broad brush of history as given to us through the cycle of the ages, as so beautifully clarified by this great soul, the Jnanavatar Sri Yukteswar. And so what do we do about this love? Love it can be unconditioned and felt in the oneness of things, but most typically we see it only in relation to things, or of course people, obviously, but people can love flowers, they can love, let's face it, good or bad, just about anything. I love saltine crackers. No, I don't, but you see what I mean. Nonetheless, it is the power of attraction of one object, if you will, to another object. For us as devotees, we seek the love of God, the one object of this seemingly separate soul, with the great object, the source of all creation. When it says in the New Testament, God so loved the world, I believe it's in the Gospel of John, God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son, that has multiplicity of meaning. You see, Swami Kriyananda said, love is bliss manifested. Simply because love as we ordinarily experience it is, as I said already, in relationship. It's, you might say by its nature, at least as we perceive it, dual, two. Okay? And so bliss, the joy, and Swami Kriyananda contributed a wonderful image to the understanding of the why. Why did God create this world? No words can ever fulfill and satisfy the answer to that, but he gave this reason. He said it's the very nature of bliss to share. Well, what is that sharing if not love? You see? So love has its roots in duality. I mean, we speak of unconditional love, but even when we speak of unconditional love, we're still speaking of one to the other. It's all but impossible, really, to experience love without another. It's why Krishna says that that love for God in some form that you hold dear is the easier path for embodied beings, rather than attempting to reach to and become one with the principle of the absolute spirit beyond creation. But so love then can be seen as the expression of the bliss of the soul, the happiness we feel. Of course, the average human being sees that love for another is what brings us bliss. Well, okay, that works because we are retracing our steps from separateness to oneness. And so in the retracing of our steps, we, quote, fall in love and experience bliss, even in the sense of marital union, to use that expression. The two become one, even in the physical act, and receive in that act, hopefully, presumably, bliss. And so bliss is also can be seen as the consequence of love fulfilled. So it goes both ways, and we, as being separate and seeing ourselves, I should say, as separate, we strive for union. We have union with food. We see something tasty or something delectable, and we want to eat it, consume it, become one with it. And we see the beauties of nature, or maybe in a picture, and we say, I want to go vacation to that beautiful spot. I'm overlooking the beautiful bay, Port Susan Bay, overlooking in the direction of Mount Baker, and it's so beautiful. That's why I like to come up here. Well, it's not the only reason, but nonetheless, we do treasure our view. We met with one of our neighbors, and she wants us to support her efforts to have some trees removed or cut down so that our two homes can better enjoy our view. So, you see, this is, love makes the world go round, as they say. I would be more inclined to say desire makes the world go round, but then I tend to be something of a cynic. In any case, the power of attraction truly is what created this world. Not that the infinite spirit was attracted towards something, but as I said before, Swami Sri Yukteswar has gifted us with this image that bliss naturally wants to reach out and share itself. And so, the celebration, it's like Thanksgiving. I guess Valentine's Day and Thanksgiving are the two characteristic American holidays. Is that true? I think it's true. I discount silly things like Columbus Day and things like that. But, they're very worthwhile. They each reflect divine principles, is what I'm saying. Even if, in certainly the case of Valentine's Day, it's kind of cheesy, let's face it. What was that expression? Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. That's what I remember. Sorry, I do tend to be a bit of a cynic on this particular subject, but you can't get away from it. Sri Yukteswar in the book Holy Science says you can't get away from it. You can't take one step on the path of enlightenment, of awakening, without awakening the natural love of the heart. That is such a beautiful image he has given to us, and I think where I would like to end. It is natural for us to love. Yes, we want to curb unnecessary desires. Yes, we want to curb those desires which are harmful to us and perhaps others, but we cannot get rid of desire because it has its roots in love. All we need to do is find the natural, pure, simple love of our hearts and offer that to the source of that love, the heart of hearts. Happy Valentine's Day, great souls, and we'll stay in touch.